Christian McCaffrey says it's not nothing in regards to the EMF waves and power plant substation risk that a lot of people are trying to dismiss right now. But your boy's been screaming for years. Someone needs to open up an investigation. And people would say, Smitty, what do you think you're going to find? My answer is, I don't know. You need to have somebody look at this with a blank set of expectations and just dig into what is possibly causing so many injuries in San Francisco, because something is prevalent there. Something's causing more injuries than we've ever seen with a single team before. But yeah, no one listened to Smitty. Christian McCaffrey says it's not nothing. Now, do we know exactly what's going on? They're going to do tests, I'm sure. This is going to become an issue and a situation. McVay extended. That's great news for people that were worried about, could McVay ever step away anytime in the next year or two? Now, Stafford is another story. His back does not require surgery in regards to the disc, but will he return? As I've mentioned, people need to pump the brakes on fully 100% expecting him to return. He could step away. We'll have more on that. Davante Adams is expected back. We're going to talk all about this and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
A lot to go over today, ladies and gentlemen. A lot to go over. Number one, let's start off with the Christian McCaffrey situation. McCaffrey was speaking about this. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle, I believe. Spoke to Christian McCaffrey about the EMF theory at Pro Bowl practice. His take when it comes to EMFs and 5G and phones and blue light and Wi-Fi, it's not nothing. Now you could say that this statement's is nothing, but McCaffrey's one of those people that stretches on his own. He takes matters into his own hands, and he's the only one, and he shouldn't have been, given his injury history, the only one that didn't suffer any sort of injury on this team last year. So this is somebody I would listen to when he's talking about, something like this. And does he think there's something to it? I think he does. I think a lot of people think there's something to this. And the people that dismiss it right away and say that the power plant substation, for those that don't know, it's right by the practice field and the stadium. And they're thinking that ligaments and soft tissue injuries are related to being this close to this substation and electrical power plant. The people dismissing it are dismissing it off no evidence. That someone might say there's no evidence to suggest that these injuries are caused by the substation. That is correct. They need to look into it. But for somebody to say that there's been evidence that's been refuting this, those people are regurgitating and spitting out what they've heard from someone else, because no one's done a study on this exact field, or when it comes to NFL athletes being next to a substation, being next to these kinds of levels of EMFs and frequencies, and everybody thinking that this can be dismissed because there's not a study that supports that it causes this is ridiculous. They need to look into it. They need to immediately probably stop practicing next to it. And then there's been steps taken in the past week where they're not putting players next to it. So clearly there's something here. Now, what's it mean for the future? Does it mean that anybody that's had some sort of issue with it can't, regain 100% strength in their ligaments? Or we don't know. Nothing's known for that. But we do know that it's going to be looked into, and it's going to become a bigger situation before it becomes a smaller situation. This is just getting started. They're just getting started with finding out the information and trying to look into this. More on McCaffrey later. I will say that McCaffrey is a complete avoid for me in 2026. And you could say, Smitty, you said it last year. But the man's workload is to the moon last year. And his efficiency as a running back was definitely down. And when you watched him run, he didn't have the burst. He lived and survived in the receiving game. And while that's still a potential lifeline for McCaffrey to hold on to top 5 running back value for one more year, it certainly is. the workload and likelihood of staying healthy is so small. If I'm wrong, I'm fine with it because I'm drafting Gibbs. I'm drafting wide receivers like Jamar Chase. I'm drafting St. Brown, who's wide receiver 3 year after year after year. I'm drafting those players in place of where McCaffrey's going. Even if I'm wrong and McCaffrey has one more year, I'm not wrong. McCaffrey is a no-go in 2026. At the cost of entry, you just can't go near it. It's just not smart business. So McCaffrey will be on the do not draft list in 2026, whether people want to hear it or not. Some people are going to be upset about that. They're going to get in their feelings, and I get it. This situation right here is going to also be a tough conversation. No one is suggesting that Puka Nacua is. Honestly, I'd probably take Puka 1 or 2 overall walking into a 2026 fantasy football draft. But from a dynasty perspective, there is concern about how long this man could play football. Because you take Stafford away from the situation, Puka Nacua's volume as it exists today, it does not exist any longer. And while Nacua is probably going to survive, you'll hear somebody say things like, he's quarterback proof. You don't know what he is. You have no clue what he is without Matthew Stafford. We just saw JJ, who was quarterback proof, become something completely different. And while we do believe that Nacua would survive better than JJ with another quarterback, his dynasty value is certainly in question in terms of that 1, 2, 3 overall value. Can you move off of it at that value and get something safer with an additional piece, building block for your team in dynasty? Now, we're not out of the woods yet for Matthew Stafford returning. So if Matthew Stafford, while I believe that it's probably 80%, 85% likely Stafford plays again in 2026 and plays healthy, those are kind of two different components of this. But let's call it 80%, 85% that he plays and plays healthy to start the year. No one can guarantee he'll be healthy all year. That's an 80% chance. That still leaves, in my mind, this is my arbitrary number, but 20% likelihood that something could go awry. An injury doesn't allow him to start week 1 because you remember he ramped down, tried to get his back as healthy as possible, didn't go out there and work out or do anything until the 11th hour just to give his back a little bit more time. The major issues around his back are not the disc. It's about the degenerative issues going on in his spinal cord. It's about his overall back health that's probably not going to get better. That's the bigger issue for Matthew Stafford, not the disc. The disc is an additional piece of it that is a concern. One that is kind of feeling like it could be alleviated. Stafford will not require surgery to repair the herniated disc in his back. This means rest will be required. So Stafford will ramp down like he did last offseason. At what point does he kick into gear? So part of my 20% concern of Stafford for 2026 would be that will he be healthy, ready to go? Will he suffer setbacks? Will he not get in as good of shape for his back? This is a crazy year for him to stay healthy in probably the worst health he could be in walking into the season. He had his healthiest and best season. So it's ironic. It's kind of like Christian McCaffrey's miraculous 2025 stays healthy somehow season where it's like, can Stafford repeat this? It's a tough sell for me. It's a tough sell for me to expect Matthew Stafford to repeat exactly what he did. This guy was what, QB3? Let's pull up the quarterback finishes. He was QB3 in 2026, which is crazy. These are the 2026 scores. He was number 3 through 17 weeks. And at the end of the day, you can ask yourself, like, hey, the weapons are there. If he's on the field, I can't see him taking a huge step back. Maybe he's QB5, QB6. Maybe we're not talking about Stafford's fantasy value necessarily, but we're more so connecting it to these two gentlemen right here. There is a 20% in my mind concern of both injury and also Stafford just walking away. Now, someone might say, Stafford's not walking away. That's not that simple. Rams head coach Sean McVay said, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Matthew Stafford returns in 2026. Now, that doesn't give us a really good percentage as to what's really going on. But the fact that we're going from 1 week when a reporter asked a great question and McVay crapped on the reporter said, is Stafford going to come back? Do you expect to have Stafford back in 2026? He goes, what kind of question is that? What kind of question is that, bro? And then literally, it's a great question. And then literally, a couple weeks later, McVay says, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Matthew Stafford returns in 2026. How about an apology to that reporter? Because the reporter was on the money in asking the question. Now, you might say Stafford will be back. Stafford, that is a lazy, I don't know anything about ball take. And that's okay, or it's fandom driven. If it's fandom driven, then that's fine. You might know ball and the fandom is taken over. But to suggest that he's just coming back blindly when he's suffering through major back situations that are double complex with the disc and then the actual spinal cord issue that he's dealing with, his spine, the overall structure of his back, and the problems he'll probably have by playing longer. So if you think that Stafford's just about football and he's not thinking about his family or his life after football, you're not thinking clearly. You're thinking with your fantasy football mind and not your logical part. And as Shane just took my thunder for my next statement, is his wife has a lot of control over his life. So let's not pretend there isn't a percentage of existence that Stafford doesn't return. Stafford could not return. It's a chance. It's at least a 10 to 20% chance Stafford decides to go, my overall health, I got all the money in the world. This guy's made more money than any quarterback in the NFL history. I think he's one or two in terms of money. He doesn't need money. He's not worried about the money. Not to mention, you guys got to understand this. He's on a 2-year deal from last year with 1 year left now, but it's not 1 year left. He's on a 1 year to 1 year deal. And when they struck this 2-year deal, it was just financially for accounting purposes was written up as a 2-year deal. It is a 1 year deal. Stafford will not return on his current deal. That McVay made that very clear last offseason when they signed it. He goes, this is a year-to-year thing with Stafford. We got to rework it each year. And so Stafford, for money purposes, for his back and health, and for the fact that, he may not only step away just because he's done, maybe it's not even health related as much as he's just done, or he could go play somewhere else. Now, probably not. I'm sure they felt like they left a lot on the table. But my point is there's some risk to Puka Nacua 2026. Am I willing to take it? I just told you. I'd probably take him 1 or 2 overall. In fact, I have been. An Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, where you can smash, the link is in the description, you can smash 2026 big board drafts right now. $10. The prize is, I think, $1 million or $2 million to first place. So jump into a big board, $10. Link is in the description. Play, get up to $1,000 in your 50% match on your first deposit, all the way up to $1,000. So if you want to join in a big board, do it now. Draft. I've been taking Puka 1, 2, 3. It's worth the risk. Would I saturate all my teams with Puka Nacua 1 or 2 or 3 overall? No, because what if something does happen? What if Nacua gets Justin Jefferson? Now, Adams is a whole nother conversation too, because Davante Adams is getting older. McVay said he absolutely expects Davante Adams to return to the team in 2026. Notice the difference in tone, though. I absolutely expect it, and then my fingers are crossed. So let's not pretend that this isn't a real risk. Now, Davante Adams, I have to tell you, with under 800 yards receiving on the year and really surviving with touchdowns, Davante Adams is a big, I think, a void for me in 2026. I'm not going near Davante Adams. I guess I shouldn't say that. In best ball, I might. In best ball, I might in the right spot. I miss out on wide receiver. I look at him in the 3rd or 4th round or wherever he might slip to, and I say, hey, this could be 7 weeks of it, and I'll have a supplemental piece that steps in best ball. Best ball, you don't have to decide when to start a guy, and he certainly could have 7-8 games where he has multiple touchdowns or something. But let's remember that Davante Adams had 89 yards. Ziggy, how many receiving yards did Davante Adams have in 2025?
Davante Adams had 789 receiving yards in the 2025 regular season.
Ziggy, turn off. Ziggy, turn off. That's a concern. That's a major concern, guys. 789 yards. He lived off of touchdowns. This man was wide receiver number 8 because he led the league in receiving touchdowns. And you could say he'll do it again. And that could be the case. but I felt dip going on with his play. I felt like he was kind of non-existent, and then boom, there's a touchdown. Non-existent at the end of the game, boom, catches a tough pass. But it felt like one of those Julio Jones or AJ Greens at the end of their career, DeAndre Hopkins at the end of their career, and then they were there and they caught the pass, and it's like the skill won out on that play. He did really well, but where's he going? Where is he going for 2026? Davante Adams is a big avoid. 789 yards does not cut it. Ziggy, how old is Davante Adams? And when's his birthday?
Davante Adams is 33 years old.
And when's his birthday? Damn it.
Davante Adams is 33 years old and his birthday is on December 24th.
Okay, so 33 turns 34 during the season. That's the one wide receiver. Ziggy, turn off. Ziggy, turn off, you son of a... It's the one wide receiver that turns at the end of the season, you know, the dreaded age. You know, each year we talk about how old he is. This is a guy that you can't count on for rectifying his 789 yards. Like, you can't remedy that. That's going to be what he does. 800, 650 yards. He's going to have to rely upon 14 touchdowns. 14 touchdowns. Why am I mean to Ziggy? Here, you're going to go in timeout for that one. Golden Tate. We're going to put you in a 10-minute timeout. Matthew Stafford, Davante Adams, Puka Nacua. What's this team going to look like next year? Is it going to fall off? I don't know. Am I avoiding certain pieces of it? Only Adams. Am I concerned and at least cautionary with the Puka Nacua dynasty value, but a little bit of the redraft? Yes. But I'm still drafting Puka Nacua. 1, 2, 3 overall in redraft. Dynasty, I'm selling him though. He's already said he wants to retire early. He says he wants to retire by 30. Not at 30, not 31, not in his early 30s. He said he wants to be retired by 30 years old. He's also one of the most injury-prone wide receivers in the National Football League, Puka Nacua. He's also in the blue tent or in the locker room about every other game. And we love that about him because he plays with heart. He also cut the mullet, which is just, it feels like bad vibes. Doesn't anybody feel like cutting the mullet was a mistake? I feel like it was a big mistake for Puka to cut that mullet.
Through sheer science and intense aerodynamic study, the mullet of Puka Nacua has been reconstructed inside the Fantasy Football Show studios. This systematic balance of hair volume, mixed with both Quantum Atom fiber technology and L'Oreal shampoo and conditioner, creates a floating mechanism to which the world has never seen. Patent pending. To see this prototype in action, see Puka on Sundays as he floats around the field.
Big vibe mistake. I'm not feeling it. This feels like the Madden cover type of situation. Like, why are we going near this? Why'd he cut his hair? And he gave himself a bowl cut, too. It was weird. It's like a bowl cut type of... It's like he kept all the volume on top and just put a bowl on his head and then cut everything from here down. And it's all the same. It looks like a palm tree. So, a lot of things concerning me. In terms of the dynasty value. Okay? So redraft 1, 2, 3, fine with it. Dynasty, most injury prone player that plays the wide receiver position because of his heart, which we commend him for it, but he is literally a walking injury. It's only going to get worse as he lays out for every football in the world, thinks he's Superman, tests his body to the limit, pushes it to the limit every single time he's on the field. We love that about him. Again, it's something we celebrate. I'll even do a standing ovation as I caution you right now.
Mashed potatoes!
But it's concerning. So, dynasty owners, sell him as high as you can and get a damn bag for it. Sean McVay, as I mentioned, extension, that's good for the one piece of worrying about, will McVay be there? Because if the McVay system, departs, then what? Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I got Landman over on the Rumble side of the fence. Landman, appreciate you guys on Rumble. We're at 1.84K. We were at 700. We're at Davante Adams' receiving yardage, 789. Like literally that exact number. We were at 789 subscribers on Rumble, like I want to say a month and a half ago. We're at 1.84K. We're almost at 1.9K. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. So please get on over to the Rumble channel. Link is in the description. Follow us over there. There will be exclusive Rumble only content at some point. So make sure you're on that train. Best FFF show, sir. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you for that kind word. And also the damn super chat, young man. Keeping the lights on. Standing ovation for the first super chat.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, pal. Standing ovation for the first $5, the first $2, which we just did, the first $10, the first $20, the first standing ovation if you're a first. Dropping a super. Travis, that was a $10 from Jason. That was a $10 super chat. That gets a meatloaf.
I smell meatloaf. Hey, Ma, the meatloaf.
Okay, so first super standing ovation for first 5, first 2, first 10, first 15, first 20, first 50, whatever. Dial in. Let's have conversations about the specific players on screen if possible. If you've got another ulterior motive when you call in, I'll gladly help you with your situation. Just make sure you do touch on this if you can. That way we keep the topic at hand in play. Whether it's Christian McCaffrey, whether it's the 49ers, whether it's the substation, whether it's Christian McCaffrey being at risk, whether it's any of those things that we've talked about that are on screen. I would love to have a conversation about any of these, and in addition, whatever you've got going on in your league. So dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Thank you again, Jason, for that super chat, you monster, you. And then Landman over. I got New Age Outlaw and Landman over on the Rumble chat. See how I'm giving the Rumble chat some attention early? I'm on my game today, Landman and Rumble Land and New Age Outlaw. I'm watching for you. I have you in my sights right here. Let me see if there's any other news lingering around X and Schefter and the boys. Anything being reported? Justin Fields is invited to play in the Pro Bowl, but declined. He wants to train in the offseason. Look, Justin Fields is arguably one of the, you can crap on it all you want, but one of the better potential quarterback options for a team this offseason because there's just not a lot out there. Bruce, you're live, my boy. Let me see if I got my Bruce's Loose video thing here real quickly. Hold on, Bruce. Let's introduce you the proper way, young man. We've got on the phone line, ladies and gentlemen, a man that needs no introduction. His name is Bruce.
The Bruce is loose.
Bruce, what can I do for you, pal?
Question about the Rams offense. If Stafford leaves and all the other things,
yes, sir.
What would you do with Kyron then? Would you sell him or would you try to buy him cheap if Stafford leaves?
That's a great question. Well, Stafford. Okay, let's do both because I don't want anybody to think that we're predicting Stafford to leave. Like I said, 20% chance Stafford's either not healthy or doesn't come back. That's 80% chance he does. It's still a very, very high number. But I think you just have to be careful not to just assume that you know you're gonna get everything to return to form, especially Adams. But if we go trying to project where Kyron would go if Stafford stays, let's do both. Let's exercise both right here. So Kyron Williams, where's my Kyron Williams graphic when I need it? Hold on a second, my boy. All right, here it is. So we'll take Breece Hall out of this. Breece Hall is not going in the second, by the way. He's in like the 3-4. But if, let's say, he gets traded to KC, the reason we even had Breece Hall sitting here, I was telling people that he's going in this like 3-4. But if he goes to KC, he's going to go into the 2. Mid 2, maybe even top of 2, maybe even bottom of 1 if he's in KC as a starter. So now is the time to strike on dynasty trade for Breece Hall while he's ambiguous. Redraft, you're not going to have enough time to have this help you if you're drafting in September, but in best ball, Underdog promo code Smitty. Again, play 5, get 75. They'll also match your first deposit 50%, all the way up to $1,000. This is where you can take advantage of Breece Hall, 3rd and 4th round, yearly league value ADP. So make sure you're on top of that because Breece Hall can win leagues at 3-4 turn. Now, Kyren Williams, last year, where was Kyren going? Bruce, do you remember?
I got him in the 2-3 turn.
Okay, that was early. You reached on him. He was going probably mid-third, if I remember correctly. Some people would not draft him in the 3rd, and he'd go 3-4. But I'd say he was somewhere around this territory. It's wild to me that he's not going a lot further than last year's ADP, but I do find that you have to take him somewhere in this territory. But it's still decent value on the surface level because what did he finish last year? He finished as running back 9. So running back 9 in the 3-4 territory is not a bad cost of entry. It is kind of wild, though, that he's not going a lot further. Maybe he will. Maybe in redraft he'll go a lot further. I don't know. Maybe he'll fall in best ball. But it feels like you can still get him in the 3-4. But I would venture to say more like 4.1. Let me look at his underdog ADP real quickly and find out where exactly it is right now. But Corum's definitely more of a threat walking into this season than he was last season. But at the same time, they signed Kyren to an extension. So how much of a discount will you really get? Will people be fickle to that and also be fickle to the numbers and just say, look, he was number 9? Hard to really say. Let me merge Travis in here real quickly. Hold on, Travis. Okay, Travis is merged in. Kyren Williams, I have him listed as 34. So you're talking about right where I'm saying he's on the verge of becoming the number 36 overall player, which would be the end of round 3. So he's on the 34, 35, 36, 4.1 track. My guess is that people will pump up content creators and you'll hear buzz. Corum's going to take over and that negative narrative, which has got some truth to it, right? They did dial Kyren back and they said we're going to save him for the playoffs, and they did do that. They were true to their word. I think the negative narrative is going to drive him into the 4 territory. Now, this is if Stafford stays. If Stafford doesn't stay, let's say, which again is a small percentage comparatively to the 80%, but it's in that 10 to 20% chance of he's either hurt and can't get healthy in time because he's got to take time off to let the disc heal if he's not going to have surgery, which it sounds like Stafford's going to just take time off to heal. What's he like? How does he get his back up to par? He's older. Every year he's older. It's amazing he did what he did. Kyren, I can't imagine, doesn't fall to at least the bottom of 4. You might have some people that say without Stafford, they're going to run the hell out of the ball, and that might have some people pushing it back up, and there'll be a tug and pull. So I would say mid 4 to late 4 to maybe top of 5. But I think that some will look at it as a benefit. They'll just run a lot more, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. I almost think if Stafford's coming back, let's say for any reason he has a setback, can't start week 1. That's when I think people will be saying, well, the run more will be great. If Stafford were gone and they had to figure out a new quarterback, then I think you could see the 5th round because people will be like, look, it's going to be trash. But hard to say. But it's a good question, Bruce. I would say four across the board. It's just top or bottom of 4 will be dependent on what's going on around him.
Okay.
All right, hold on, Bruce. Mute yourself real quickly. Let me go over. Think of another question. I'll go over to Travis. Travis, you're live. I don't think I have another super chat here. Let me just see. Landman and New Age again. Thank you over there on the Rumble land, chatting away, keeping the Rumble chat afloat. Travis, you're live.
So with Stafford, I guess my question is, when do you think we find out if he comes back or not? Do they let him take his time, or do they try to force his hand so they know? Or do you see them drafting a QB one way or another this year? At some point.
It's a good question.
Or are they happy with Stetson Bennett? I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
know. It's a good question. I don't think we'll know. I don't think it'll be as public as other situations. I don't think this will be like Aaron Rodgers, or this will be like McVay might call him and be like, you need to let me know about whatever. We might never know that conversation takes place. Just because it doesn't get publicized doesn't mean it won't happen. But I mean, I will probably say I bet you Stafford decides really early. I don't think he lingers with this at all. He's not that kind of guy. I think his intention will be, again, 80% chance more like, so let me put it this way. Again, 80% chance. Let me get rid of the Cardinal boys. We were having a conversation yesterday about them. I was saying that there's an 80% chance that Stafford plays 2026 and plays healthy. So that means that my projection for him intending to come back is higher than 80% because part of this 80 is the injury. Like maybe he's not healthy in enough time for week 1 because he's going to take a lot of time off. So I think that there's a really good chance very early on we hear he's coming back. He intends to come back. And it might not even be like crystal clear. It could be like, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to play. And last year it worked out. And I think, it probably will this year, but I need to heal my disc and see where I'm at, talk with my family, go. But I certainly believe they'll know before the draft. Will they know before free agency when they got to maybe make moves? I don't know. I don't know if he'll know. He might literally say, I gotta heal my back, see if the disc will in fact heal without surgery, and then go from there. But I can't envision him walking away when he didn't struggle with any injury. They played so well. So I think his intention will be made soon that he's going to try and return, or he will be returning. But will he?
That's the feeling I get.
Will he get hurt? Will he not? Hard to know.
One other thing to note too is that, he was like, depending on the league, QB1, QB3, whatever. The chances of him being top 3 QB again are fairly slim. I mean, I know he can do it if all the weapons come back, all that, but that was the best fantasy year of his career.
We'll never see it again. Yeah, he was.
Duplicating that is.
I want to sing 6 points per TD leagues. He was 1.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Margeman scoring. He was 1.
Yeah, this is 4-point TD scoring right here. He was 3, and 6-point he was 1. Yeah, I don't anticipate a return to the top 3 again. Could he be 5, 7, 8, something like that? Maybe, but I do believe. I do believe that this is going to be a situation. John, I'm going to put you in timeout. Decide whether you want to be here, bro. Put you in a 30. Come back in 30 minutes. Literally, you're trying to tell me how to do my job and what to say and what's correct. And you're trying to tell me about the medical. Let me deal with it. Let the professionals deal with it. Dynasty Superflex question here from Max. Let me just answer this real quick. Dynasty Superflex, 12-team PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, 6 points per TD. This is a wild scoring. May plus BTJ plus a 2.7, JD5 plus Genty. I'm taking JD5 and Genty without much of a hesitation. As much as I love Drake May, and he is my QB 1 or 2 in Dynasty, Superflex or Dynasty, it's the same ranking, really, because they're all so young, those quarterbacks. I would probably just say, look, I have faith that JD5 with his running abilities and the way that I still feel about him, that I'm taking this gamble, that it's a step down, but how much of a step down? Genty certainly closes the gap for me. Especially given your running back situation, where now Harvey and Corum, your running back 1 and 2, which isn't exactly the best running back stable in the world, although I love Harvey. Getting Genty, Harvey, and JD5 gives you a much better shot. BTJ, I don't know what he is. I could see where maybe you regret this if BTJ returns to some semblance of his old self, but I think I take the Genty JD5 side. And I love Drake May. Tough call though. I don't think it's a slam dunk necessarily. If I made it seem like that, no, close. Chat, what would you do? May, BTJ, or Genty and JD5? I'm not too worried about the second rounder.
Yeah, I personally I'd go 5. So I was going to go JD5.
Hold on, boys. Hold on. Let me go. Travis. Let Travis finish, and I'll go over to Bruce.
No, I was just saying I believe in JD5 bounce back. So, I mean, I think it really just comes down to that. If you personally believe JD5 bounces back, you take him with Genty. If you can't live with it,
right,
you're going to sit there and worry about it constantly. You probably just have to stick with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. All right. What else were we discussing real quickly? McCaffrey, or no, around the McVay situation. Stafford. Stafford. We'll find out, I think, before free agency kicks off in March. I mean, we still got all of February. I don't think Stafford's going to linger through all of February and then into the middle of March and be like, I don't know yet. I just don't see it. I don't think that's the case. Not to mention he needs a new contract reworked, and that has to happen like soon so they know what they're dealing with free agency. And so I have a feeling that they're just going to ink out, like we're going to find out through a contract announcement. That might be more of the case. It's like, because that's part of like, hey, we'll get you back. I don't know if I want to play again. What if we offer you this? What if we offer you this? And then it's going to be like, Stafford's returning on a new deal, boom, boom. Like that might be how we get told that Stafford's returning for sure. Maybe not. Maybe he just says it, but I have a feeling it's part of his negotiation ploy. Like I might step away. No. Hold on. We got money, Stafford. I mean, he's still greedy. His wife is telling him, we need another house. Stafford's made more money than any quarterback, I think, in NFL history, or he's in the top 2 or 3. So he will become the highest paid quarterback in NFL history after another inked contract extension. But it's going to require, he's not coming back to play on his current deal because it was a 2-year deal meant to be a 1, essentially. So we'll see. But I think at the end of the day, he will return. 90% chance he's returning. And then there's that other percentage that brings the whole total of him being ready for week 1 because of injury down to 80% chance he's ready, returning, and healthy. But that's just an arbitrary number that I'm throwing out there. Just a complete guesswork number. But that's my educated guess anyway. Thank you, Max. Max with the $5. I said a standing ovation for every super chat increment. So $5 holler to $10 holler. That means any $20, any $15, any $40, any $50. Standing ovations because I appreciate you guys keeping the off season flowing like wine. Landman and Hag over in the Rumble environment. New Age, appreciate you guys. Bruce, you got anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say the JD5 and the Genty. I like JD5. He's going to heal up, and Genty with this new head coach, he's going to look a lot better than he did this year.
Yeah, Genty's going to be unbelievable. Genty's going to have so much room to run. That's what it's been about, man. The guy's just getting hit in the backfield. He doesn't have a chance. Like, he's shown so much promise. Where Genty's gotten onto his off to the races on his horse, and we're just sitting here watching Genty, waiting for that one play that looks normal, like a normal play. Where another player is getting it every second touch. They're getting the exact play Genty takes a whole 2 or 3 games to get. One, like, we're just waiting. When's Genty going to get the ball with good blocking and like some sort of gap at all, just a little wiggle room? Because we never saw it. It was like games in a row where he got nothing. And finally you get one glimpse and he hit a home run with it. He'd knock over somebody, bulldoze somebody. Like, I just can't wait till this guy has regular space to run. And it's all going to be through the initial part of bringing Mendoza in to just space the defense out. Smart quarterback, quick release, good at reading defenses, good at getting out of situations and audibling out of a situation that looks like Genty's going to get clobbered. Like, there's so many different dynamics at play that have nothing to do with replacing the offensive line, which they will also do. But everybody acting like it's just a lazy, but the offensive, he won't be good. Hey, guys, I got it. Here it is. He won't be good unless the offensive line's fixed. Like, no shit.
I got one.
Go ahead, Bruce. Sorry.
I got one question for you. If Stafford does retire, is there someone on your QB board that you would like that would fit the LA system the best?
This is why it's so critical he comes back and they use the money to help make him make his decision, is because the Rams are in trouble, bro. Unless they go and get, I mean, Malik Willis, Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray, Justin Fields.
Tua could run the system.
Tua could be,
Tua could run it.
It would be the best attempt, maybe. Just because he can throw, it doesn't mean he. But I don't know, man. Right. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any world where this thing looks even remotely the same, and that goes for Puka Nacua. If Stafford did hang it up, Puka at 1-2 overall, 1 overall, 2 overall in early drafts, big mistake. It would end up being a big mistake. It's not a high likelihood, but it is a likelihood that exists. And from people that want to pretend like Puka is safe no matter what this year, he's not. There's a certain percentage of risk. I would say it's like I said, 80% chance that Puka will be fine this year with his quarterback.
You could argue that for 2026, if Stafford left, Stetson Bennett the best guy to run the system.
Maybe. Thing is, like, Jimmy Garoppolo was like the backup. If Stafford went down, part of me wonders if Jimmy would have went right in though. So I don't know. I like Stetson Bennett a lot. I just don't know what.
Yeah.
Don't know what they're thinking. But yeah, Genty to the moon, guys. Bruce, hold on one second. Travis, hold on one second. Let me go to this other caller who's sitting here patiently. 443, you're live.
Smitty. How's it going?
Oh, is this Nick? Nick, what's up?
Nick. How you doing?
What's up?
Hey, I had a question about dynasty startup value, and I'm trying to get a hold of like cross-positional value with everything changed. So there's 3 players that have this weird sort of group in the middle of like the 5th round, and it's Fannin, Scadaboo, and like the 105. How would you rank those 3 like assets
in the 105?
Dynasty. Yeah, in the 105.
Man, this is tough because is it a 1 QB or Superflex? You said
Superflex. Yeah, tight end premium.
Is it your anticipation? Okay, tight end premium, Superflex, important information. Okay, is it your anticipation that this 1.5 will easily be one of the 2 receivers, Tyson or Tate?
Or Lemon. I mean, any of those guys.
Okay, well, I'm going to put Tate and Tyson here in separate because I think it's important it's Superflex, so we'll have Mendoza gone. I would probably rank these guys in tight end premium Superflex. Damn, so tough. I mean, Fannin
could be Lemon if the other 2 receivers go first. If it goes Mendoza, Love.
We'll rank them. We'll rank them. Damn, man, this is so tough. We had, you know what's crazy? I was looking at the tight end scores when I was putting this board together today. This is the top tight end scores from 2025. I have 2026 there. I need to change the date. Sorry, 2025. This is last year's 2025. It was crazy when I pulled this up. I mean, Pitts, I kind of felt like, yeah, we knew Pitts scored high, but Ferguson, how did Jake Ferguson still finish 3? Like, that was surprising to me. Kelsey still 4s is sometimes still shocking. It's like, wow. Like,
3?
Look it up and make sure that I didn't get this wrong.
Look at him at 5 or 6.
I might have been
6.
I might have been in a weird scoring. Okay, hold on. That didn't make sense to me.
Hold on. Yeah, because Kelsey wasn't 4 either.
Okay, I might have had something mixed up.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. Kelsey was 3. I had Warren. Okay, so just Marsman. It went McBride, Pitts, Kelsey, Warren, Stan, Ferguson.
Okay, let me just see. I think that this might be right then. Hold on. Every scoring might be slightly different, but I have McBride, Pitts, Kelsey, Warren. Okay. Ferguson 6 in this one. Okay, the scoring I was looking at was weird. Okay, so let me reorder this. Kyle Pitts, number 3 is Kelsey, which is even more surprising maybe than Ferguson. 4 is Warren. 4 is Warren. Fannin was 5. That one's accurate. Jake Ferguson 6. Okay. What was that scoring? Was that maybe that was half? I don't know. I don't know what scoring it was. Maybe it was half tight end premium. I don't know what it was. Goddard 7. Henry 8. Henry 8. 9 Jawan Johnson still. 10 Dalton Schultz. Hold on, I'm going to answer your question 1 second, bro. I just want to get this squared away.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Here, where's my Dalton Schultz graphic? Where are you, Dalton? Did I delete you? Jeez. Did I delete him? I'll have to put Dalton. I don't know. I don't think I have him. I'll have to write it here. Guy. Poor guy. I gave up on him, and I don't know what happened to that. Okay, so Schultz here. Brock Bowers 9. Jeez, man. Let's see. Brock Bowers 9. I'll put 9 over here. And I'll fix this. This might not be, that obviously isn't correct with Schultz. Loveland was 12. Kittle. It's roughly in the same order, kind of. Okay, so we were talking about, it was Fannin, Lemon. Okay, so Fannin, tight ends 5 last year, and he's just getting going. Munkin's going to want to use the hell out of him. I'm
Premium, too.
so tempted to list Fannin number 1 here on your ranking. I'd probably say tight end premium. I'm going to put Fannin 1. I don't know if I'm going to change that. I love Scattaboo, but this is dynasty. I think his style of play is a little concerning, but I love him. I'm going to go Tyson 2, Tate 3, Scat 4, Lemon 5. And I don't know if I might switch Fannin into like the 2 or 3, but this is where I'm feeling on tight end premium. Did you say half point? It's only half?
No, it's 1.
It's 1, okay. I think this is probably the best way to look at it.
With a full point, yeah.
Yeah. But I love Tate and Tyson. Truly do. So the thing is you're gonna get the leftover probably. I don't think you're gonna have your choice of Tate or Tyson. So if Tate goes to New York and he's playing second fiddle to Neighbors, I don't love that as much. So this will change based on landing spot too. So I guess Fannin even more so, knowing that you're not getting full control. E-Rock, thanks for the super chat. Trade HN and the 2.8 for Ladd, Ken Walker, and Woody. Trade HN and the 2.8 for Ladd, Ken Walker. I'd rather have HN. Not even close. Cool. All right, anything else, Nick?
I have a lot of Fannin because this channel and just, I was drafting him in the 3rd round a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, how to approach it because I sometimes took like McBride in some of those teams or Bowers. Should I try to get rid of one of those or just play them in my flex? Like, that's a tough decision for me because it always seems like I'm down tiering to like a less high scoring player because it is tight end premium.
I would consider trading one of them and see if you can utilize the value of having 2 guys that are top 5 in tight end premium. I mean, you should have no problem getting offers. Maybe people are lowballing you, but you should be able to make this trade, bro. Should be pretty easy. I mean, who do you go after? Pickens.
Yeah, somebody that I'm going to be like scoring with around that range in value.
Well, that's when you probably give up Fannin and something to get Pickens. Give up Fannin and something to get, that player. That you probably want to upgrade Fannin. Don't just trade him straight across. I would give Fannin and something. Give Fannin a 1st rounder for a player, like things like that. I'm not as big of a fan of hanging on to it if I have holes in my lineup. you know. But it's not, definitely don't sell them to the highest bidder, like only sell them high or keep them, because he's still going to score well against wide receivers. But you definitely want to take advantage of I think, getting that player like Pickens or who you say you have McBride. So in the case of like McBride, Fannin, you could trade McBride and try and get a monster, you know. You're talking about top 7, 8 overall player, top 5 overall player, though, maybe. You know, if you exclude all the quarterbacks, you could probably get a top 5 overall fantasy football non-quarterback for using McBride. If not number one, you could probably, in a tight end premium, you might be able to get running back 2. You could get Gibbs somehow. Even if you gave up like second rounders or you did a first round swap with someone that you like their first rounder anyway. Like, be creative. Don't just stick to I'm keeping the top guy. Keep Fannin.
Yeah, it's really hard to up tier from tight ends this year just because of the way they scored this year. If you want to go back to your 25 ranking,
not McBride,
it's like crazy how Ferguson became like a top 3 guy.
Well,
like,
he's 6.
They're like, oh, well, I'll just hold on to him, you know.
Yeah, I hear.
Really
you. But McBride is going top 9 in a non-tight end premium, non-superflex. So you're getting McBride in a 1 point tight end premium at like Gibbs value. So just
tight end scoring was down this
year.
Yeah.
You might have trouble with what you're thinking. Getting rid of Fannin with what you're thinking. Oh, I've got Ferguson. I don't know about Fannin. I like him, but yeah, I got Ferguson or I got Goddard. But McBride's a totally different story, bro. You're going to have no problems getting rid of McBride. All right, got to go, Nick. Appreciate you. Later.
All right.
Let me circle around the phone line here, and then I'll be back at midnight tonight. Bruce, final thoughts, my boy.
It was a good film. We just got to wait to see what Stafford does.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we'll see what the Rams are going to do then.
We'll be back at midnight, Bruce. Appreciate you. Later, bro. Travis, final thoughts?
Yeah, just going back real quick, I think you hit it on the head where if he has holes in his lineup, those are the teams you want to go and try to make moves with. If you're stacked, though, have a team, that won a championship or coming off a championship, unless you can truly get to that, that Gibbs level player or whatever, just use them in you. I wouldn't even mind having a few teams with McBride and Fannin as a flex account.
Yeah.
1 point in a full point tight end premium, because when you start to compare them to what they score alongside alongside the wide receivers, even in just a regular.
Do you have a
premium?
Do you have a tight end premium?
Like wide receiver 6.
Do you have a tight end premium? You can look at Fannin where he's ranking against receivers.
I have a 0.5 one. I can check that.
Okay, check that. Let's see where that is. But yeah, I mean, if you're stacked, don't get rid of the advantage, the positional advantage. But you might be able to upgrade your quarterback massively to like Josh Allen from a Caleb or something, by giving up Fannin, doing some 2 for 2.
Okay, so Fannin.
Thank you, E-Rock. Appreciate you. Thank you, Rumblers. Appreciate you. All my people on Rumble. New Age, you're the man. Great QBs. I don't see Mendoza top 10 this year in redraft. Well, maybe not. I mean, he may or may not be as a rookie, but what he does for the offense is going to be, pure gold. Turning Bowers into what Bowers could turn into, turning Genty. Just like Mendoza's role isn't necessarily fantasy friendly right away for himself. And what he provides directly, indirectly, what he does for everybody is immeasurable. All right, we'll be back.
Actually, this one's not going to equate because it's a half PPR league.
Yeah.
Equate to full PPR.
What's he ranking, though, against wide receivers?
So in a half PPR wide receiver league, where tight ends get a half PPR premium, he would be a wide receiver 10.
I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, you could assume it's like 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So.
Yeah, so Travis makes a good clarification. If you're stacked in a league where you have the double tight ends, just hold it and wait for an offer that literally you can't refuse, rather than try moving stuff around for stuff you don't need. But if you're in a dire situation, don't be afraid to move McBride, who has a very changing situation. Like, we don't know what McBride's going to be able to replicate exactly, so trade him for Gibbs if you've got to give up second rounders or another player somewhere. You know, McBride in a full point premium tight end league should go where Gibbs and Genty are going. You can get Genty or Gibbs. You could probably get Gibbs using McBride in a tight end premium. He would go top 1 to 5 in a tight end premium. All right, Travis, anything else?
Nope. I'll be back.
All right, I'll see you at midnight. Appreciate you, man. All right, guys, thank you all. Appreciate you all. We'll be back at midnight Eastern tonight. We're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks. Also additional live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. Don't forget to get on over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com. Rankings are year-round. Trade calculators year-round. 6 bold predictions already up on the bold predictions board. Your boy got into the industry in 2002/2003 because the industry needed a trade calculator. So your boy got in here inventing, innovating in the space. I've been doing it ever since. This is the bread and butter of everything I've done since I've been in the business for over 20 plus years. And the Patreon is kind of where our home base of where our community lives. On the Patreon, 24/7, 365 live chatting. $10 a month, cancel anytime. That link is in the description. All these links are in the description. If you want to draft tonight on Underdog using promo code Smitty, that link is in the description as well. Code Smitty manually being entered also gets it done. It'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So if you want to draft with us tonight on Underdog, make sure you're hitting that link in the description. I'll see you all later. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, rumblers. Thank you, Hag and Landman and New Age Outlaw, all my rumblers over there on Rumble. Guys, subscribe to the Rumble channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Rumble, please subscribe on YouTube. You need to be on both because there will be content that will not be shared on across the platforms, so you need to have both. And then the Dynasty channel is a whole nother thing. We'll go live on that tonight too, after the draft show on the main channel. So subscribe to all the links. They're all down below in the description on both Rumble and on YouTube descriptions. They're the same. See you all tonight. Appreciate you.